If you're struggling to get consistent, professional-looking color in every project, or just feel like it takes too much time, let me tell you there's an easier and faster way to color grade. Hey, I'm Joel from Night Owl Stories, and today I'm gonna show you how to use our free Kodak 2383 PowerGrade to achieve a beautiful color grade with just one click inside DaVinci Resolve. So let's get started. So what's a PowerGrade? Well, think about how much time you're spending setting up your color grading workflow. Now imagine this is a clip for a new project. I would have to go to the color page and start creating all the nodes. Imagine this is exposure and this is the white balance. This is the saturation. So I would have to go through each one of them and create the node structure that I want to use. Now using a PowerGrade, I can just adapt one of them and just with one click, I have this ready. Or I can use a different one that is gonna give me a different kind of look, or a different one. So now let's see how we can use our free Kodak 2383 PowerGrade. To get started, head over to our Gumroad page. The link is in the description, so just download the PowerGrade for free and you'll be ready to go. Now let's set it up. Open DaVinci Resolve and go to your Color tab. And once you're in it, just click on the Gallery button and make sure you're staying on the PowerGrade tab right here. Now, once there, you can just drag and drop or right click, import, just locate where you have it. Mine is in the desktop and I'll just import it. And once you have your clip selected, you just have to go here and you can either click on the mouse wheel button and it will just apply it just like this. Or if I Control Z, you can right click and apply grade, right? So with just this click, as you can see, the PowerGrade is activated. And again, you go from 0 nodes, just one node, to the PowerGrade activated. So all the nodes out there, all the structure is there. As you can see, this one's very simple. So again, this PowerGrade uses the Kodak 2383 film print that is pre-built inside DaVinci Resolve. It's a very popular one and it's very cinematic, it's very good looking. It's gonna look good in almost any clip you use. So as you can see right here, we start with a color space transform and we have another one here. These two nodes are very important because they are gonna translate our input color space and input gamma from the camera, and they're gonna output it to whatever we need it to output. Now ourselves, we're shooting in hybrid log gamma. So if I open this, you can see right there that everything is being set up. So just know that, for instance, we're shooting already in Rec 709. However, our gamma is in HLG. That's why it's set up right there. And then our output color space and output gamma, you don't have to play with it. It's pretty much set up so we have a bigger workflow and more colors to work with inside DaVinci. So we're using DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. Now, then we have our second node of color space transform that is gonna wrap and prepare everything up so we can actually use our Kodak 2383 film print. Now, the rest of the nodes are pretty basic. It's just so you can actually play and tweak things around a little bit. So there's this white balance. The way I usually like to do it is either using the temperature or using the offset in the primary wheels. So for instance, I think this clip is maybe a bit bluish, so maybe I would go ahead and if I wanted it to be a little bit more warm, so I would just grab this wheel and bring it there. So that's pretty much it. That's a little bit of a difference, and we have that there. As for the saturation, we're using a very specific technique that we just really enjoy using. So if you right click on it, you can see the color space is set up to hue, saturation, and the value. And we did actually go to channels and uncheck the hue and the value. This means that we're only gonna be touching the saturation, right? And that also means that if we go to our primaries right here, and we have our lift, our gamma, our gain, and our offset, we can start playing with it. So for example, if I reset the gain, which I had tweaked a little bit, you can see that I can just move the saturation around like this using our offset. Of course, I went too far and I can desaturate it as well. I can reset that over there. That means I can saturate specific parts of the image depending on whether I use the lift, gamma, or gain. So the way I usually like to go about it is just add some saturation to the gain, and I usually go around 140 or so. It might be different for you. And then if you feel like you need it, maybe you want to go lower, Maybe you want to go higher in the gamma, which is going to bring all the shadows up a bit, as you can see. I like pretty muted tones. Maybe in this case, I like to keep it in 135, for example. Now, as for the exposure, we're using the HDR wheels. So as you can see right here, we're using the global, and by just moving this slider, the exposure slider, you can just bring it up or bring it down. Usually when we convert these images, again, you can see the before here, it comes like this. When we convert it into a film print using the Kodak, it usually brings the exposure up a lot. So usually a good rule of thumb for us is going like -1 stop. That's like one whole stop down. And sometimes you can just play around with it. If you want it a little bit darker, if you want it a little bit brighter, you can just play around with it. It's really, really cool tool. So I'll keep it around there for now. And then as for the contrast, you'll see I just really enjoy using the curves. I just like to bring this down a bit. I just play around with it, so bear in mind. And maybe I lift the blacks up a bit. And then if I ever need, maybe I add some contrast and bring the shadows down a bit so we still have some contrast. So that's the difference it's doing, and that's pretty much it. Now, if I wanted to, I could activate the clips here and just copy paste by clicking again the mouse wheel button or right clicking, apply grade, and we'd have it. As you can see, because I also applied the white balance, this looks very off, right? Also from camera, it could be quite off. So I'm gonna reset the white balance grade pretty close to what it should be. Again, I can use the same here. I can apply the grade. And again, you can see this one might be a little bit overexposed. So I would go down to the exposure and I would just bring it down. Maybe add some more saturation, because I think this one will look good with more saturation. So I bring it up to 145, maybe even the shadows up, something like this. And maybe I still feel like it's a bit too warm, so maybe I will bring everything down. Again, I'm gonna be using a different tool now, so the temperature slider, so you can see it works as well. Something like this, maybe some magenta, and that's pretty much the difference it does. And then again, I'm going to be using this PowerGrade again so you can see how it looks. If I just click here, again, the node structure is being used, and that's the difference it makes. I think it looks pretty good to me. Maybe I would just adjust exposure up a bit, and that's pretty much it. So that's everything you need to know to introduce yourselves into the PowerGrade workflow. Now, hopefully our free Kodak PowerGrade is going to be helpful to you. It's going to save you tons of time and get you consistent and professional looking results and shots. Now, if you have any questions, any doubts on how to use it, just make sure you leave them down below in the comments. And of course, we'll answer you as soon as possible. See ya.